Hello and welcome to Keep Hope Alive. I have Sue Bowles with us. She is an author, speaker, and master life coach. And we're going to dive in to interviewing. So, welcome here for the podcast and everything. We're so happy to have you. And I'm going to give you guys an update on me really quick. I hear it in my voice. I am having seizures again, and I get about maybe 3 to 5 a day. And I developed this thing called aphasia. And sometimes it's hard or repetitive. I just got to take breaks, but I'm not going to let it rule me. So Keep Hope Alive is going to go. And there's no edits to the way I ever talk. So, well, let's get started. My biggest question is, who is Sue?
Oh, wow. That's a big question right there. First of all, may I applaud you for your courage and your vulnerability to be an example to others, to keep
Hmm.
hope alive and to not let life get in the way. Because that's what this whole thing
Yes.
is all about. So pl- trudge forward, keep moving. I'm excited for you.
Oh,
So who
thank
is
you.
Sue? Thanks. So who is Sue? Sue is
That's an
someone
easy
who has,
one.
I wish. Um, I'm someone who's experienced a lot in my life. And I've come out the other side where now I am helping others as they deal with their stuff. But what's important for me is that what has happened to me, what I've endured, what even what I've come through and where I am now doesn't define me because those are experiences, those are life circumstances, but it doesn't define me. Who I am is a child of God who has hung on to Him. The coattails of faith is what I call it. And I've hung on to Him and clung to what I know is true for me. And that is the one thing that has gotten me through what life would say is just way too much to. I know we'll get into that, but it's important for me to let people know that my identity and who I am is not what I do. And it's not what I've overcome. It's who I am. And that is shown by what I do now.
Oh, that's beautifully said. Uh, I I can't wait to hear more. So, yeah, and it's yeah, I can make fun of myself. I'm just gonna let you talk. I know you're an author and speaker. So I guess my question to you is, how did you become an author, and when did you want to start everything?
Yeah. Well, and let me back up a little bit and share some of the story so that people understand what
Okay.
I'm referring to.
Yeah.
Um, I'm a childhood rape survivor. I was raped by a classmate when I was 7 years old. I was enticed into the woods on the school property after school, held against my will for 45 minutes. And the last words my perpetrator said to me were, "Don't tell anybody." And he went out the other end of the woods. I went out the opposite end to where my mom was looking for me. And at that point in time, this early 70s, rape was not on the culture, on the radar. It wasn't part of the culture. Nobody knew to ask anything, and I didn't know to say anything. And unfortunately, I kept it a secret for 15 years into my senior year of college. So anyone who has a little bit of understanding of trauma understands that trauma literally rewires your brain and you find different ways of processing things. So I didn't have a chance to be a normal kid. I went right into survival mode. So everything that I experienced from age 7 to 18 was through those lenses of survival. I only had part of the story. I didn't have the full story. So I was telling myself things that weren't true. I was believing things that weren't true. And I was acting in a way that was indicative that there something had happened. But at that time, society just didn't understand it. So within that, I've dabbled with, I've struggled with depression. I've struggled with anxiety. I've dabbled with cutting. Twice I've considered ending my life. I am in recovery from an eating disorder. My parents divorced after 34 years of marriage. At the time of this recording, this is July 2025. Um, I lost mom and dad in 2.5 years of each other. October 5th, 2020 was mom. December 27th, 2022 was dad. And, life happens. There's been a
Mm-hmm.
lot to endure. And for the longest time, I was mad at God. I'm a Christ follower. That is the most important thing around which everything else revolves. And
Yeah.
I was hacked off at God. And it's called This Much I Know, the Space Between. Yeah. And also the address at the end. But um, the first book I started writing in 2015 was The Rape for the First Time, and over 4 decades after it happened. And then in 2016, I entered recovery for my eating disorder for the first time. And that alone is a whole different story. But I started writing a book in 2015 because part of my recovery in 2014 with dealing with the rape was I attended a retreat called Walking Stick Retreats. And there was a movie out earlier that year called Ragamuffin, which was based on the life of the late Christian musician Rich Mullins. And one of the themes of the movie was about the masks that we wear. You fake it till you make it. And the retreat was going deeper into some of these themes. So I went to the retreat, and I went into that retreat calling myself the holy exception. I was starting to implode from work dealing with the rape. And I believed the lie that I was too screwed up, too far gone, and a total waste of space. And I left that retreat 3 days later, saying and starting to believe Christ not only loves me, he likes me. And he's head over heels in love with me. Um, and that's what started writing the book. It started out as wanting to share things I have learned in my life journey. And each end of each chapter ends with a "this much I know," dot dot dot, and a little summary. And then it kind of took on a different format. It kind of just became cathartic, and I started really sharing my story in much deeper detail than I ever had. Because what happened in that first retreat is I had to own my story because I was in denial about my story. And then, more and more came out. The book published in 2019, it won the award in 2020.
Oh,
And yeah, it's a treasure because it was a chance to really be authentic. It's got great Amazon reviews, and just what I love most are the emails I get. I had one person say, "I don't know if I should hug you, hit you, or throw the book out the window," because it struck so many nerves for them. That was a huge compliment for me. Or I talk to people after I'm done speaking at an event, and they'll come up and they'll say, "I've read your book," or "I heard this," or whatever. There are two books that have come out since: Breaking the Silence, Voices of Survivors, Volume 1 and 2. Those are anthologies. I have a
oh,
chapter in each one of those, and those both become Amazon bestsellers. And but all this to say, the power of story. Every person has a story, and it's the one thing no one can take from you. And when we share that story, that's when we give power to it. That's when we take back our power from what the events have taken from us. And it gives permission to other people who might be sharing, might be struggling and are afraid of saying something. One of the things for me, when Simone Biles came out with her story, it gave me permission to share mine. And now look what I'm doing as a result of that.
you see, that's really good. I finally wrote a book, and it's based on a true story, but I hear from other people through my church, "Oh, no, you probably don't want to put that out there in the world." And I was like, why? It will help somebody else. So it just sits on my laptop right now. And I guess all these people that do the publishing, they need thousands of dollars. So I don't even know where to take it right now.
Mhm. Right. And my books are all self-published. And it's a journey in and of itself. But I found an editor on, was it Thumbtack, or I think Thumbtack, and had somebody edit it. The first round of edits weren't the best, but I've learned more since. But
Mhm.
there's a lot you can do for $500 to get a book out there. And I personally enjoy the self-published, just so that I can just not only retain my rights, but share the story the way I feel I want to share it. So,
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So yeah, so there's a course on I think Alexa is hearing me, or because Facebook keeps popping up publishers. And I was like, I looked at one and I just got like turned away from it because they're coming, oh, how can we help you right away? And it's just like, oh, slow down. So I'm just
Yep.
going to sit on that and see other people's experiences and what I can do. So,
Right.
but that is good.
Yeah.
Bestsellers on Amazon. Have you done book signings?
Not anything official. I've signed a lot of books. I haven't held any official book signings.
Okay, so we know it's on Amazon. Did you put it in any retail places also?
No, it's only available online right now. The best place to get it is going to be on my website. Actually, I have them all right there. I actually have a supply of all my books right here in my office, ready to ship them out. So, and again, at the end, we can give the website and everything of where they can find me and get the books and everything like that. Because then when they order it through my website, I can personally autograph it for them. They buy it somewhere
Oh,
else, I
nice.
can't do that.
I know. Are you gonna have an Audible version of it?
Um, I have thought about that. I haven't looked into it a whole lot just yet. It might be something worth doing because it's definitely
There's
adds
people like
something
me.
to it. So
And so with aphasia, guys, it's hard for me to read and text people, and you know,
mm,
I'm trying to learn what is needed because a lot of people don't know what it is. And stroke
right,
victims and seizure people, they can get aphasia, and it's just been hard, the little things we take for granted. So
right.
I ask all the time, is it audible so I can put my AirPods and listen to it? So yeah.
You're inspiring me to look into that more. So there you go. If I go that route, I'll be sure to let you know.
Oh, that's cool. That's so cool. Okay. And I see that you're also a life coach, a master life coach. Tell us about all of that.
Yeah, I am an ACC certified master life and mental health coach now. And that ACC is really important because that is a global certification through the International Coaching Federation, which is the gold standard of coaching. That means I've gone through rigorous training and mentorship and passed an audio review and then passed a 4-hour exam to earn the certification. So
Well, congratulations. That's a huge step. So, how do you get clients? And
a couple
do
years
you
pro
do
thanks. I equated that. How do I get clients and what?
well, how do you
So
get
to
your
get
clients?
yeah, I think there's a little bit of an internet lag. So real quick, I equate the ACC certification process to what I went through to get my master's. It was that involved, and I get clients a number of different ways. And a number, some people find me on Psychology Today because I have a master's degree in a counseling related field. I was able to appeal to Psychology Today, and they approved me for listing. They don't usually take life coaches, but because I have that background in psychology, they approved me. So I'm pretty proud of that. So a number of
Oh,
people find me on Psychology Today. Other people find me through my website, or they'll hear me speak and they say, "Hey, I want to work with you." Other people see me on Facebook, a number of different ways. I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube. I'm really expanding my YouTube channel, and that's been fun. So they find me a number of different ways, word of mouth as well. So any number of ways. I spoke at a retreat, speaking at a retreat here in a couple of weeks. I spoke at one last year, and somebody approached me, 8 months, a year later, and said, "Hey, I remember this. I want to work with you now." So any number of different ways. That's why I enjoy being out there in the public and just doing speaking and doing podcasts and doing the YouTube, because there are many people out there who want help and don't know how to get it. And I'm able to be that for them. Let me explain just quickly for your listener, because there may be somebody listening who is wondering, what is life coaching? And is that something that could help me? Because I'm not sure about this stuff. Counseling and coaching are related and they are different. Counseling deals with helping you resolve issues from your past that are still affecting you today. Coaching deals, it helps you focus on your present to get you to your future. So coaches do not diagnose. Coaches are not, we don't deal with the DSM-5. We don't do a lot of those things that counseling does. Coaching is goal oriented, focus oriented. Now, as a mental health coach, I help people who are struggling with things that are affecting their mental health before it becomes a diagnosable mental health issue. So I talk a lot with my clients about boundaries, about communication, about relationships, about anxiety, about depression, about time management, about I've worked with clients who are switching careers. So I work with a lot of different areas, and we head it off before it gets to the point that it's a diagnosable mental health issue of anxiety or depression or anything like that. There's some part
Yes.
of it as well is when I'm talking with a potential client, I do a 15-minute no cost call. So we can talk about what the concerns are, what is it they want to achieve, and if coaching is right for them. There have been times where I need to tell a client that I am not right for you because what you are looking for and the mitigating factors are more something that a therapist and a counseling center are going to help you with. But then my obligation, my responsibility to best help that client is to help them find a counselor. And I will help them research right then on the phone call, because I want
Good
to
for you.
help that person who has had the courage to reach out for help. And just because I'm not the best match doesn't mean they don't deserve help, and doesn't mean I can't help them to that degree.
I agree with that 100%. You said something, you, you know, communication is very important. And with relationships, do you get people like married couple? I can't talk. Married couples come in and try to get help and stuff like that, or boyfriend and girlfriends?
Yeah, I haven't had married couples yet. The probably the most significant couple I worked with was a mother-daughter. They had a huge falling out around the holidays, around COVID. They had said their relationship was about a 10. And when they came to me, they said, I would say it's about a 4. And we worked together about 2 months. And
Hmm.
at the time, when the time they finished coaching, they felt it was back to an 8, and they had the tools to be able to get it back to where they wanted it to be. I've heard from them since. They are doing very well. The relationships have been restored. They're thriving. And much of what they were working through was learning how to listen to the other without judgment, without attachment. And that's something I really talk about, is the judgments we make in a comment or in what we hear from somebody and how we're interpreting it versus what was actually said. That is a real core key element of communication struggles, is intention versus perception, and needing to back those out so that you can look at something without the emotional attachment, to just see it, what I call kind of like a police report, just the facts,
Just
instead
the
of
facts.
reading in the judgment and the emotional attachment to something, which is attached to your interpretation, which is based on all of your filters. When we were able to back that out and screen that out, we look at just what was the root of the communication, what was said, and then how do you want to respond to that? And that was a lot of when I was working with that couple. And each time they came back, and there were some hard conversations, some
Yeah.
really hard conversations. But once they learned to listen to each other, and they were able to really have those hard conversations, heart to heart. And some of it was in our calls. I would facilitate some of this hard communication. But to hear them doing so well now, and that the grandkids who were kind of, I don't want to say victims, but they were being affected by all this, are now
Yeah.
thriving and have the relationship with the grandparents. It's been really neat to hear.
That is really good. Another big one is grief. Have you had
Mm.
and any clients with the grief?
Yes, and grief is a tangled web, and
Yes.
it's a heavy one. You know, having walked through my own grief, I have learned a lot that I'm able to help with my clients with now. And some of it is, a lot of it is just that it's okay to not be okay, and
Yeah.
how to, you know, how to work through some of those doubts, some of those what ifs, those woulda, shoulda, coulda, and again,
Yeah.
kind of not use the woulda, shoulda, coulda as a means to beat yourself up, because that's where people get stuck, but to say, okay, in this situation, I did the best with what I had at that point in time. Because usually when we're looking at something with woulda, shoulda, coulda, we're making a judgment. Again, that attachment. We're making a judgment on a past situation with our current understanding. And that is not fair to ourselves or the situation. So again, some of working through grief and those struggles that go with that is being able to sort that out a little bit so that the person can let themselves off their own hook, so they can learn
Yeah.
to give themselves a little bit of grace and use it, one, to bring peace to that place where they're feeling discomfort and lack of peace, but then also so they can learn those lessons, and then, okay, how can we apply this to your relationships now, so that the past does not beat them up, and they're able to use that to better their future.
Yeah, I agree. In my break, I moved to Oklahoma from Texas, and the church I go to, um, I went to two different ones, and I have a lot of people talk about grief on my podcast. So stepped into a grief Wednesday seminar and just listened to hear the stories and everything. And it was so good for me because I understand it better. And then, unfortunately, right now, my father, he's declining. So I'm trying to be with him more and ask him questions. And I don't know. There's a company out there that has them fill out like questions for them.
Mhm.
And I was like, that would be really cool because as I'm hitting almost 50, not quite there yet, but I would like to have that because they want you to carry on the happy moments and remember them for that.
Right.
So, yeah, that was a big one. How would
The-
everybody listening here get to you? Um, your what is your website and all those
yeah,
details?
yeah. The website is suebowles.com. And if your God name is spells Bowles. And if I could speak real quick to the one thing about it, what you said about what your dad shared his story, I gave a book like that similar to my dad, and he didn't fill out a lot of it, but after he passed, we're going through things. I found it, and there were a couple things in there I was not aware of. A lot of it filled out, but the things that, first of all, I have my dad's handwriting. Second of all, there were some really cool things there that none of us really knew. So it was really encouraging in that regard. And you can get them on Amazon. The other thing I encourage people, and this would be for you as well, would be when you're having conversations with him, just set your phone on record and don't let him know it. And just totally forget that it's recording. I have some of the best conversations with my mom on my phone 2 weeks before she passed. One of the last recorded conversations we have, and remind you, this is during COVID, was how to pass out Halloween candy safely. But that's what we were talking about. And I love it. That was where her mind was. Oh, so I have some of the craziest conversations with mom recorded on my phone, which I've now saved. But what's cool as well, we had a large family, our first full family Christmas in 2019 here at my house. We had 15 people crammed in my house of 12,000 square. We had the best time. It was so epic. And it ended up being our last family Christmas. I set my tablet over on the shelf and just recorded for 4 hours of all the banter, all the laughter. And I just having it, when mom was declining in the hospital, I was recording. We had people call her to say goodbye, and I was recording those phone calls. I mean, just all kinds of things, because now we have that journey. So just it's one way to help, so what I call anticipatory grief. It kind of just helps a little bit, and then you have those stories later. But yeah, sorry, all that again. Where people can reach me is at SueBowles.com. And if they go to the website, I have one of the keys to keeping hope alive is to keep encouragement alive. And I have a weekly text I send out on Wednesdays called Hump Day Help. And it's just something comes right to your phone. They can sign up for that at the website. Just go to SueBowles.com. You'll see a little thing come across around the homepage about Hump Day Help. Go ahead and sign up for that. I'll get you on the list right away. It's just something I send out Wednesdays to encourage people. But well, there's information about life coaching. There's the books are on there. Some other things I have, some wristbands and stuff that I have around there as well. Would love to get get the books in people's hands. But let's let me hear from you. What are you learning? What are you struggling with? How can I help you? Because that's what that website's all about, is how can I help you take your next step? Because my business name you see on the shirt says My Step Ahead. And the whole
Yes.
concept is you only have to be a step ahead to help the person behind you. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to be an expert. You have life experience, and therefore you have something to offer. And that is what I do as a coach, is I empower people and work with those who are rewriting their narrative so they can live the life they don't think they deserve, because they really do.
Yeah, that's great. And also on my website, Keep Hope Alive podcast.com, I have a store and I'm going to be adding your books to this store. So you
Thank
guys
you.
can go, yeah, and there it'll go right to the Amazon link and everything. So
Thank you. Appreciate that.
definitely. So, what are your plans in the future? Do you know that
Mhm.
yet?
Wow. Well, a few things. One, right now, I'm really working on my YouTube channel, because I am passionate about. I'm on a mission to help break the stigma around mental health, especially with Christians, because Christians, for whatever reason, feel like they're not allowed to struggle. And that is not the case. If you look at Jesus in the garden, Jesus dealt with anxiety. Jesus dealt with, God, I don't want to do this. And Jesus
Hmm.
struggled through to surrender of, but not my will, but yours be done. So mental health is biblical. Addressing mental health and struggling with mental health is an example all over the New Old Testament. There are so many examples. Even the New Testament. Look at
Yeah.
when Lazarus was in the tomb, 4 days of grief before he was raised. I mean, there's so many things are right there in the word. So I'm on a mission. So part of my future is really working on the YouTube channel. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm also starting to write some chapters for my fourth book, and that's going to be called Dare to Believe You Matter, because part of what My Step Ahead has done is launch the Dare to Believe movement, because everything with mental health comes down to one question. And this is what I've heard when I'm out speaking. I love when people come up to talk to me after I speak
Yeah.
somewhere, or they come up to me at a merch table at an event. And I heard a lot of whispers of doubt of, oh, you don't know my story. You don't know what's happened to me. Are you sure is that possible for me? And everything that I was struggling with in 2014 is still a struggle now. So the Dare to Believe movement is all about how you answer the question for yourself. Do I believe that I matter? It's
Hmm.
important that others believe in you, but until you can say in a solid bedrock foundation way that, yes, I believe in me, permanent life change cannot and will not happen. So we launched a
Yeah.
Dare to Believe movement that has its own separate website with some free downloadables on it as well. Uh, and it's all about finding many different ways to empower people wherever they are on their walk. Maybe someone's not ready for coaching yet, but they want to start kind of talking about fear and imposter syndrome. That's what the Dare to Believe movement website has. Maybe they're to the point, I can't live like this anymore. Something's got to
Hmm.
change. I'm ready to start talking about learning how to communicate. And they want to enter into coaching with me. Go to my website, do that. So
Hmm.
I it's that's my mission. In whatever way it takes, that's my mission, is to help break the stigma around mental health and help people have a better life, one step at a time.
Yeah. And that is very important. And they can find you through there. And do you guys, or you ever have like a Zoom, multiple people join in and do a talking, like, today we're talking about grief or relationships. And do you do that?
Yeah, I don't do a lot of those yet. I'm starting to do them. I had actually about a month ago, I'd actually done an event on Eventbrite about getting the story straight and identity. So I am looking to do more of those. And again,
Yeah.
if people go to my website, they sign up for that Hump Day Help, they'll get that information. So when I have it coming out, I also communicate that with them. So I
Yeah.
can, get that word out to them. Because yeah, I enjoy doing those things because again, it's one way you to help people with wherever they are and then help them take the next step forward.
And are you thinking of writing another book?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
a little bit ago, I mentioned, just a little bit ago, I mentioned I'm starting to write some chapters for my fourth book called Dare to Believe You Matter. Yeah.
Okay. And I have another. Do you have your own podcast?
I do not have a podcast yet. I have so many other things going on. Podcasts would be a little too much. Whatever I do, I want to do with excellence, and I don't feel I'm at the point of being able to do a podcast that way. But
Yeah.
with my YouTube channel, as I load up more videos, as I do more videos, people are getting a snippet of what my heart is, and
Yeah.
those aren't just informational. They're about real life stuff and giving people tools to apply. So a lot of
Yeah.
things I talk about with my coaching clients are things that I'm including in my YouTube videos because again, it's something that can help anybody. And I want to
Yeah. And that's really, really good. I know I
get as
watch
many
a
people
lot
as
of
possible to hear.
YouTube videos and stuff like that. So, okay. So we got all your contact information. And it's been a real pleasure to talk to you about all this and being an author, a speaker. I really wanted to be a speaker and just feel like I can't because all the words just pop out kind of like a robot now for me. But um, and I became a relationship coach many years ago, but it's it's you know I had one date. This is a funny story. He wanted to go on a lunch date, and we sit down. He had a tea, I had a tea, and then he goes, "How can I get back with my ex-wife?" And I was like, "Oh." So I switched into relationship coach on a date. So yeah, it's been a real fun time. But when you have so many people, I've been asked to do a podcast over and over and over, and it just worked in my favor, which I like talking to people. And some people want to cover my mouth. Stop talking to Dean. Now they get your wish. It's hard to talk. But yeah, definitely. When I put this out there on Facebook and everything, this podcast, you guys will have all her information as well. Remember to go into the store part of the website. You'll be able to find her information, book information, and buy there. So, but um, if you would like to be a guest also on Keep Hope Alive, you just got to work with me a little bit on that side. But I'd love to have you on the website. You can register to be a guest also. So, once again, Sue, it's been a pleasure to have you on, and until next time, I want to follow up with you and see about your fourth book going out and everything. So, all right, guys, until
All
next
right, thanks,
time,
Nadine.
have a good time, guys. I think it's still wait, it's recording.